Second poem posted July the 12th, 2024, is number 4,396. It's called Back to Basics. I know this weenie. He doesn't read, or hasn't in quite some time. He used to. In fact, he'd keep an ongoing list of every single book he ever read, alphabetically by author. I've got it here somewhere. Then a year into what we now seem to lovingly call the pandemic, he caught it. That scary thing that isolated most of us. This guy who used to read. COVID. His case was special, as it turns out, because in the middle of living through the aches and the fevers and the scary unknown and not being able to smell anything, that's how he knew. Before he got his test, he opened a brand new half-gallon plastic bottle of Pine Sol, put his nose right at the mouth of the bottle where the lid had been, and took a deep whiff and smelled absolutely nothing. Whoa, he thought. But then he was also getting up every hour, having to pee, and also he found himself with an insatiable thirst, a constant. He could drink as much of anything at all, and yet couldn't be quenched. And the worst of the worst, he'd wake up of a morning and pull out a book, like usual, and the words on the page were nothing but a blur. Now that was weird. It really hasn't changed for him since, despite the fact that he was very shortly after recovering from COVID diagnosed with diabetes, hence all the random and more diabetic-like symptoms. He visited an ophthalmologist, got a new prescription for his glasses lenses, tried bifocals and the newfangled alternatives, but still he wakes up of a morning, can see nothing much but a blur on the page or screen until he cleans his glasses and screws up his head and puts his nose in the book or on the screen. Well, fuck that, I heard him say several years into this, having not read a book for over a year and a half, or not finished one at least. And so tonight he tells me that he just finished reading a book of poetry for the first time since the pandemic, as he lovingly calls that time period in which he got COVID, diabetes, laid off from his first full-time job in a decade, and stopped reading for a few years.